Hey peeps, Erik Galaxy here. Learned a new song. Probably should practice a little bit more. Anyways, how you doing? On this week's episode, we're going to talk about some baseball, some soccer, got a couple of PSAs, and some somber pop news. But first off, we're going to start off with some football. Football season is back! Football is back! Yay! Woo! Yeah, I can't do that thing, and I didn't really have the budget for confetti and a little blowy whistle, so you'll pretty much have to just like accept this as being virtually confetti. Anyways, yeah, football's back. Riders up. Gentlemen, start your engines. Gives you the same kind of chills. You know, it's like football's back. Oh my God, there are people whose whole lives revolve around football season. I'm not one of them, but I'm pretty close. So yeah, football is back. And what that means is injuries, contracts, and rookies. Oh my. All right. So this is the time of year that everybody thinks they got a shot. Every team is 0-0-0 right now. And if you had a losing record last year, you could win the Super Bowl. I mean, it's happened before. The St. Louis Rams did it. The Patriots did it. 49ers and Eagles both did it. So it's not unprecedented for you to go and have a losing record and then next year win the Super Bowl. And if you're one of those teams that because you were so lousy, you got to draft one of these highly touted picks of this year, not just quarterbacks, but edge rusher, wide receiver. You know, I mean, if you got one of those guys and you think they're going to lead you to the promised land, there you go. Now, let's face it, every team is not going to be a Barbie. They're mostly going to be Oppenheimers, which I'm sure Oppenheimer is a great movie, but, I mean, did you really think that Oppenheimer was going to beat Barbie at the box office? That's like saying, oh yeah, let's go watch that new superhero movie, or 80 for Brady. Just saying. So yeah, this is the time of year that everybody's you know, excited because maybe one of those rookies can lead you to the promised land. Let's go football. So Justin Herbert just got paid a boatload of money to become the highest paid quarterback in football. That's kind of interesting because he's only a 500% quarterback. So what does that say for all the other guys out there that have way better records than he does? Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers are all head and shoulders above Justin. Although, you know, Aaron did give away some money just recently, so that's one thing. But let's face it, quarterback is the most important position on the team. Sorry, running backs. You know, when I started playing fantasy football back in the turn of the century, the running back was the most important person to pick because they made the most points. But, you know, rules enforcements the last 20 years have pretty much made this a passing game. It's a lot easier to, you know, throw the ball 5 yards down the line to a receiver than it is to give to a guy 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. This isn't you know, 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. It's not Jim Brown, it's not Barry Sanders, it's not even Adrian Peterson. This is the way the game is now. Yeah, sure, you had guys like a Roger Craig back in the day running and receiving for 1,500 yards each. But that was a long time ago, so I think that's where we're really going nowadays, especially when you have a running quarterback, because now the running quarterback is basically your running back. So, and he's already got the ball in his hands. So, you know, it's just not the same. It's just not valuable as much as it used to be. Especially when 6 out of the last 7 Super Bowl winners, I think it's 6 out of 7, have won without a, you know, rusher that rushed for 1,000 yards that season. You know, you can get you know, draft picks that are 7th round. They'll take you to the Super Bowl like the Kansas City Chiefs did last year. So you know, it's not really as valuable as it used to be. I keep saying that, not as valuable, but you know, it isn't. I know the fantasy football is not the same as real football, but I think the metrics kind of still apply there. That you need a quarterback that's gonna, like, you know, He's gonna get the ball. He's gonna run for a lot of yards, and he's gonna pass for a lot of yards. So yeah, kids, high school kids out there, you're thinking about being a running back. Well, maybe you should think about being a kicker because they get paid a lot more. So, well, maybe not a lot more, but they get paid more. Plus, also running backs. You know, when I was playing fantasy football, you had to draft like 4 or 5 of them because you knew 2 or 3 were going to get hurt and go down during the season. And that's probably another reason why they don't get paid as much as they think they should get paid, is because, yeah, they get used up and they get hurt. So, just the nature of the game, nature of the business, market value's gone down. So, got to deal with it. All right, so like I said before, we're in a training camp. This is not the OTAs or mini camp where, from my understanding, you get to play a lot of golf and hang out with your buds. You don't. It's 3 days and then you go home. This is training camp. It's full blast for the next 6 months. Training camp, into preseason, into the season. We're going. So, and you really don't want to hear about your star players going down on day 1, or day 2, or day 10, or day 30. Especially if your quarterback goes down. Because if your star quarterback goes down, you can probably kiss your season goodbye. Unless, of course, you got, Tom Brady or Kurt Warner to step up. But that doesn't happen all that often. So, yeah, training camp is kind of a nail-biting time. And you hold your breath. But that's football. That's part of football. Because football's back! Football's back! Football's back! Yay! Yay. Has anybody else seen the commercial for this thing called the copper bullet hose? One of those kind of hoses that kind of like they shrink when there's no water in them, and they expand when there's water in them. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the newest one that just came out looks like a snake. Even the pre-packaging makes it look like a snake. It's got the head sticking out and the tail sticking out. It looks like I'm not up on my what poisonous snakes look like and don't look like. I think it has something to do with the eyes, but if I see this thing lying on the lawn, somebody's lawn, uncoiled, I'm not going to walk up to it and see if it's a hose or not. But yeah, do you think the manufacturers did this on purpose? Like, let's make it look like a snake. That'll freak people out. But yeah, really, it looks like a snake. Also, the dialogue by the actor that's touting all the greatness of this hose, I don't know. You might want to listen to it a little bit because it's got a lot of innuendo going on in there. I don't know. I'm not going to say what words or whatever, but I mean, it's hardly subliminal. So yeah, check out this hose commercial. It's very interesting. It looks like a snake and a lot of innuendo going on there. I guess it means like sound or tone in Italian or something like that, something around that thing. Anyways, when I first saw the commercial, they're showing the back of the car in the graphic, and just saying, when I first saw it, much like the hose, I saw this one, and it's like, did that say tamale? Why would somebody name their car tamale? Because, I mean, it's in a kind of a cursive writing on the back of the car, and it's like how the cursive. I mean, who reads cursive anymore? The M and the N are kind of like really close. So at first glance, I'm looking at it, I'm going tamale. Oh, tamale. Oh, tamale. So I don't know. I think they probably could have come up with a better graphic for that for the name, because yeah, it looks like it says tamale at first glance. So, and I like Alfa Romeos. I like the car. I've liked them for a long time. So the car's not bad. I'm just saying that, yeah, if you're gonna call your car something that looks like tamale, no. Hey. So the big news in baseball this past week was Shohei Ohtani did not get traded, and Max Scherzer did. Shohei Ohtani was not traded this week, which I think is a good move on the Angels' part. I mean, what were they going to do? They're going to get, what, 2 Pintos and a Vega in return for Shohei Ohtani, since he only has, what, 60 games left to play? I mean, what team's going to take on a Ferrari that only has 60 miles left on it? And then what happens? You might be able to repair it, you might be able to sign him, but you don't know for sure. So you're not going to give up a whole, a king, what they call a king's ransom in the day to get a person you may not have after 60 days. So I think the Angels did right, because they weren't going to get much back for him. And they still have a chance. I mean, he may want to stay with them if they make the playoffs. Who knows? He's going to get his money either way. So, and there are plenty of teams who are winners and contenders that have the money to pay him. But, I mean, I know his heart's in LA with the Angels. But, sometimes hearts can be changed. So we'll just see where that all goes at the end of the season. It'll be interesting. Max Scherzer, on the other hand, is leaving basically a crap show. I mean, all of that money spent for a championship team, and they're basically in the crapper. So I'm pretty sure he's kind of glad to be getting out of there. He must be, because he waived his no trade clause. So there you go. Max Scherzer is going to a contender. The Rangers are currently in first place in their division. So they're good luck to you, Max. I saw the other day an interesting little blurb at the bottom of the screen when I was watching one of the sports shows here. And it basically said something about stolen bases are up. Well, of course they're up. You made the bases bigger. The pitcher can only attempt to pick off twice, and then now the runner knows pitcher ain't throwing over there no more. And then, on top of that, they get to wear these little gloves on their hands, kind of like the foam finger that says we're number one, I guess. And basically allows you to, slide in without hurting yourself when you're sliding into base. So, first of all, psychologically, you got runners who are like, well, I can't hurt my hand. I got this protective glove on. I'm going to slide in. Second of all, how big can those things be? I mean, are they regulated like, catcher pads or the length of a golf club? Or are they just basically, we'll see. From what I understand, it's up to the umpire's decision on whether or not the glove is too big. So, another subjective rule. So, you go out there and it's like, can it be a quarter of an inch too long? Can it be an inch longer? There's no rule prohibiting you from running the bases with your mitt. No rule. You can go to first base, get a single or a walk, whatever, put on your mitt, and you can run the bases. And those things are like, 2 inches longer than your fingers? That'd be pretty funny. I'd like to see somebody try that. But in the meantime, you got the sliding glove. It's been around for, for a while now, but I've only really seen it come to the forefront this past, maybe year or so. But of course, stolen bases are up. You've done everything in your power to make them go up. So I thought it was kind of interesting that there would be a little blurb at the bottom of the screen saying, stolen bases are up. It's like, duh. So I went and finally bought one of those sunshade things you put in your car on the windshield to keep the sun from coming in, and you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, I'm searching online, I find one that I like and everything, and I'm like, okay, let me get that one. I've never had one before, so I didn't really know, wasn't 100% sure on what that was all about, as far as how to, whatever, Anyways, so I finally get the thing. It's like, one side is totally like reflective silver, and the other side is the nice little graphic that I got on there. Now, the silver side is supposed to be the side that goes out and reflects the sun that keeps your car cool, right? Now, I knew that, but I also, every time you shop for one of these things, every time it shows a picture in the description, it has the graphic side facing out. Like, put this in your window. They don't tell you that, the graphic side is not the one that reflects it. you know, I know, and being a smart person that I am, I'm thinking, maybe this graphics side has some kind of new space age technology, you know, ink or something that reflects the sun, but no. It's basically the shiny side goes out. Now, most of you probably already knew that, whatever. But here's my thing. So why are there graphics on the thing anyways? I mean, I guess if you use it during the wintertime, you can not have to have the reflective side inside, but then, I mean, does it keep your windshield from frost, I guess? Is that what it is? But anyways, so the only time you can really use the graphics side is when it's cold. Now, I talked to a friend of mine, and she said, well, yeah, it goes inside so you can see it. I'm like, what? So why do I want to see the graphics on the inside? I mean, I'm not like going to stay in there and stare at the picture. Oh, look at this nice Van Gogh painting, blah, blah, blah. Now, maybe if I was homeless and, I wanted to put that in the window so I could like, oh, look at that nice little picture in my window of my car that I'm living in. Okay, I get that. But that's not the case here, and I'm pretty sure the manufacturers and the people, I don't think they're going that far down the road where they're going, oh yeah, it's because if you're homeless and living in your car, then you can have a nice pretty picture on your windshield. But anyways, it's just so weird that when you shop for them, they always show the graphics pointing out, like, yeah, put this in your windshield. Cool. What's up with that? It's like it just doesn't make any sense to me. So anyways, I got one. It's cool. I'll, look at the pretty picture for the 15 seconds that I'm still in the car before I get out of the car and go someplace. So, oh well. So the big news in soccer this week is the debut of Lionel Messi. Yeah. The biggest thing, my takeaway from this is basically shows that Major League Soccer is not very good. We've had other players come in of large stature. David Beckham, Rooney's come in, a couple other people along the way. But anyways, Messi is obviously the biggest star to hit Major League Soccer, mainly because, well, he just won the World Cup. So, and he's still in good form. He probably could have signed with PSG or Barcelona or somebody else for a whole lot more money, but he decided to bring his talents to Major League Soccer. And he's pretty much tearing it up, because the average Major League Soccer player is not all that good. I think Major League Soccer is ranked, 10th in the world as far as leagues go? So, I mean, there's your proof right there. I remember when Major League Soccer first came out back in '96. It was right after the World Cup. There was a big lot of hoopla, like, oh yeah, we're riding the wave, of a pretty good showing at that World Cup. The first game in San Jose, they rolled out all the stars. Carlos Valderrama was there, Alexi Lalas, Jorge Campos, so it was supposed to be a big deal. And then, as usual, the tennis fell off after the initial newness of it all was gone. I played soccer for probably about 8 years. When I started, there was no youth soccer leagues. We basically just, I think we started using a volleyball or something like that because we didn't have a soccer ball. And it was basically, oh yeah, Mike, put your coat over here, and Dave, put your coat over here, and that's the goal. And that's how we started playing soccer. But I played for a few years, high school, club soccer. And I really like playing soccer, but let's face it, it's not exactly the most exciting thing to watch, unless you're watching some really good teams. Now, if you're watching the top teams play, then it can be pretty interesting. But, Major League Soccer isn't one of those top league teams, so just saying. It is what it is, but, Messi's here, and, yeah, I mean, we'll see how long that lasts. Also, apparently, there is a Women's World Cup going on right now. It's down in Australia. The problem I have with this right now is that basically it's in Australia. So that means it's two hemispheres away. Not only it's in the southern hemisphere, but it's also in the eastern hemisphere. So, the games are on at ungodly times, and I'm not going to stay up to watch women's soccer at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sorry. Sure. They had the one game, Netherlands, USA, the past week, which was, I watched parts of it because it basically was the only thing on and the baseball game had ended. So, sure, I watched it. I gotta say, there was some intriguing moments in there. You had the two teammates, one from Netherlands and one from the USA, that were fighting on the field, and then afterwards they're all hugging, smiling, and taking selfies and whatever, blowing kisses. That was kind of interesting. And shout out to that Haran goal. That was something of that was a pretty cool goal. I remember seeing when the corner kick coming in, and I saw that ball going there. Right then I said, "This is a header goal right here." Just as it was going there, you could see it happening. It was a thing of beauty. So okay, but I'm not gonna really watch the games that much because I'm not really interested in them. I'll watch something here and there, and when I can. But it's Women's World Cup soccer, and go USA. All right, and as promised, a couple of PSAs for you. The first one is, if you're like me and you like having a good steak or a nice burger every once in a while, this one's kind of like you make you think twice about it. Apparently, there's this thing called the alpha-Gal syndrome or something like that. I think that's what I'm pronouncing it right. It comes from ticks, basically infecting the meat when they bite the animal, I guess. Anyways, causes a food allergy. Apparently, it's one of the top 10 food allergies happening right now. And yes, it can kill you. So next time you reach for that steak or that burger, I don't know, you have another reason to start eating more chicken and fish. There you go. Me, I don't have any food allergies myself. That I know of. I haven't eaten everything in the world, but so far so good. Just something that you might want to keep in mind and know that it's out there. The other PSA is I finally got around to seeing the 80 for Brady movie. I know, I'm late, but it's a really good movie if you're 80 and like Brady. Other than that, I don't know. I didn't really make it through the whole movie. There's my other. If you're 80 and you like Brady, great. Or maybe you're not 80 but you like Brady. Maybe that's great too. I think it's pretty much not really. What do you call that? It's a niche movie, right? Niche movie. Yeah. So take your chances. So that's it. That's for our PSAs this week. On a more somber note, Sinead O'Connor passed away this past week. I wasn't really familiar with all of her music other than the one song that Prince wrote for her. Obviously the ripping up of the picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live. That's pretty much as far as I go with Sinead. Pee Wee Herman also passed. Wow, what do you say about Pee Wee Herman? I remember seeing this guy on The Dating Game back in the late 70s. It's like, what? Who is this guy? He has I never really watched his show all that much, but I did like his movies. Pee Wee's Big Adventure is like an all-time great movie. It's got Bernadette Peters in it, so right? And of course he got busted and all his trajectory of films. He was in a Batman film. Come on, you're in a Batman film, you gotta be somebody. Pee Wee Herman, yeah. What more can you say? Yeah, Pee Wee Herman. And last but not least, Randy Meisner. Randy Meisner of the Eagles, founding member. He had the high harmonies. They used to sing the high harmonies in all their songs for the first 4 albums. He was pretty much a big part. I was a huge Eagles fan, and of that whole California rock scene back in the time. Poco and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and all the bands were doing the harmonies and everything. Now, the first band I was ever in was basically a harmony band, and my position in the band was to sing the high harmonies, the Randy Meisner bits and Neil Young bits and all those kind of things. So he didn't have a really great life towards the end there. A lot of stuff happened, and I guess it's kind of rock and roll, but he was a big part. So all right, so all those, they say it comes in threes, so there's the 3 right there. So until next time, see ya. All right, well, there's gonna be some mess ups every once in a while. So and I'm willing to fess up to them. I have no problem with that. So let's go. 500 is not a percentage. Roger Craig did 1,000 and 1,000, not 1,500 and 1,500, like I said. I meant to say goalie pads, not catcher pads. Goalie pads from hockey, like. Tom Brady is a 6th round pick, not a 7th round pick. Mitts are generally 4 inches longer than your fingers, not the 2 that I stated. I'm not smart, but I am knowledgeable. And no kisses were blown at the World Cup. So that's it for this week. Oops. Well, all right. That's it for this week. Apparently, this is the time I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe and like me. Okay. So subscribe and like me. Until next time, Jim Plunkett, Hall of Fame. I just wanted to say something that I wasn't able to say last week because we didn't have a show. My bad. But the whole Bronny James thing kind of really puts a lot of stuff into perspective, doesn't it? 1880, you don't know what's going to happen. One of the main reasons I'm doing this show and willing to suffer the slings and arrows is because I had some people in the past that have always thought that I could do something like this, and quite a few of them are no longer with us, if you know what I mean. Yeah, dead. But I felt that this is kind of like something that, to honor their memory, I guess, honor them. So yeah, the whole Bronny thing really put it in perspective to say, you know what, it's time I did something. So people out there, let's have some fun. If 1, 4, 5 people show up to the party, that's cool. If 1 million people, that's really cool. But yeah, we're just doing it for fun. And just because, like I said, honor the memory of those people that put in the time to push me towards this. So, yeah. So let's go. It's rock and roll.